Ooh, I missed. I'm dead. This guy's retarded though. Okay, so let's go with this. Oh my god. Nice one over. Hello and welcome to this Warno 1v1 game played on Vertigo Duel between Zsadok playing 24th US and Spootermang playing 11th US. So we'll go through the deck reviews, then we'll talk about the map, the matchup, the deployment, and the game, and as always timestamps in the description. Right, so this is the deck review for Zsadok, and he's playing 24th US. This division's been buffed a lot by the reservist changes. Basically, reservists used to give you a whole bunch of debuffs to aim time and so on, and now it just gives you 5% less accuracy and more suppression. So basically, this tooltip used to be wrong, and now it's right. Sadly, the 5% accuracy is not actually displayed on the stat card. This is a great example. They don't even show any accuracy here. But yeah, it used to reduce reload time, turn rate, increase reload time. So that would reduce effective rate of fire. Basically, you'd have like 2/3 of the DPS of a regular unit if you were a reservist, and now it's like 5% less DPS. Obviously, once you start getting shot at, you take more suppression, which makes your DPS go down. But yeah, 24th is coming back now because reservists aren't as bad anymore, and it's difficult to quantify it because the stat card doesn't show you the changes. But I hope that gives you some understanding. So let's go through this tab by tab. 2 cards of supply. So basically, this is your very nice supply, 30 points for 750. Is that the same as the French one? Tarasque. I seem to remember the French one being better. Let me just check. The TR, yeah, so this is 30 points for 750, but I think it's got more HP or more speed or something, so it's the 2000 Logi. And you compare that to the M35 supply, and you see that they're, for the same price. They actually do hold the same supply, it's just the Logi's got better off-road speed and 3 more HP for the price, but it is what it is, so you do what you can. So yeah, this is a nice middle ground supply, but not the best. And then this is 1500 supply in a unit. All supply cards except one, the Belgian one, which is bugged, are 6000 supply in a card. The Belgian one's 9000. And yeah, so it's worth having a cheap supply and then a heavier supply to refill the cheap supplies. This is also armoured. It's got 1 top armour because that canvas there, it's very strong canvas. You see it's got some metal coming out of it. Whereas this canvas, this is weak canvas. Less than 1 top armour. This is strong canvas. Anyway. Your only other choice is this one, and 600 supply in a Helo is not really very useful at all. Helo supply in general is kind of hard to justify in 1v1. Then for your CV options, you've got Helo CV, which is always a bad idea. Then 3 availability car, 2 availability tracked thing, but very cheap, or 2 availability Bradley. So in terms of actually viable choices, it's either the car or this one. This one is because you can buy 2 of them for the cost of 1 car. So on something like Black Forest, you can buy 2 of them, just send them out, save yourself 80 points. Because on Black Forest, typically you open 2 CVs. So yeah, I think this is a perfectly reasonable idea, especially given that he's also bringing more CVs in a tracked one. So this is your wheeled one, so it gets there a bit faster. 5 CVs is like the bare minimum, really. Typically, you'd want... so like, I'm quite surprised that he's not got this CV card, for example, because you can just get a Meep CV, and then you can try and keep it with your National Guard Abrams. It doesn't remove the reservist trait, but it does help a bit. So yeah, we'll cycle back to that. But 5's the absolute minimum. Then in terms of the infantry tab, so the main weakness of 24th is that it doesn't have a military police vehicle, but 35th does. And a lot of nations do. I mean, it's like Britain doesn't have one, for example, but yeah, so you get a lot of reservist vehicles But you can't negate that by having a military police vehicle, because this is military police, it negates reservists, but the vehicle isn't military police, and there's no option for military police. So that is a big problem with this division. But now that reservist doesn't matter as much as it used to, it still matters quite a bit. Makes you take like 50% more suppression, so you get suppressed really fast and then you're useless. And it's got 5% less accuracy, but that's not reflected on the stat card.
I like money.
Star Paladin subscribed to the channel.
Thank you for subscribing to the channel, Star Paladin. That is a weakness of this div, and it's just something that you just can't really do anything about. Like, there's literally 4 separate military police units here, and not a single military police vehicle. It's very strange. Anyway, this is the best one because it's got the recoilless rifle, which is very nice. And, you know, do you really need this? Basically, it's just 10 men with military police, so you can keep it with your military police guys. But you've only got 1 card of National Guard military police guys. So I actually think, I think you don't need this and you don't need this, basically. You can use this to defend areas, right? But you can use this to defend areas with this guy, and also you've got Bradleys to defend areas, and you've got plenty of cheap infantry to defend areas. So I don't really think you need this, and I don't think you need 2 cards of military police when you don't even get in the vehicle either way. 6 is basically enough. If you just keep them alive, you should be fine, and then that allows you to bring a 2nd card of National Guard guys. So the point of this, right? So this is 85 and this is 90. You get 260 points in a minute. So if you buy 3 of these in a minute, that's 255, right? But if you buy 2 of these and 1 of these, it's 260. So you can still buy 3 a minute, but you can do it for longer. Because, I mean, you shouldn't just be buying 3 a minute every single minute, but it's part of the point of this division is that you can get out a lot of Bradleys very quickly. Whereas, you know, this you can only buy 2 in a minute, because it's not reservist. It is a better Bradley, right? But the point is that you want both cards of these so you can get as many as possible, and then you can't stop these from being reservists because you've got no reservist vehicle, and then you've got 18 infantry with which to stop being reservist with 6 military police, which, I mean, it should be enough, right? If you're struggling, you can throw in the 2nd one, but I think these 2 points are going to come in handy. Then engineers. So engineers flash are nice. It's just they're only a 5-man squad, so they're very difficult to micro. So you've always got to use them with another squad. So I prefer regular engineers because you just run up to people and throw a satchel at them, and you always want them at 1 vet because the whole point is that they're taking a lot of fire while they're running up to you, and running up to the enemy. And you want to keep your cohesion. If you lose all your cohesion and get routed, then obviously it's not great. And then we spoke about these guys. Then in terms of CVs, we've got 3 per card in a Bradley with 3 availability and smoke. 2 per card, 2 per card. And then 3 per card in a Bradley with no smoke and reservist, but they've still got the AT. And this is only 3 HP, which is like 1 howitzer round's gonna kill them. So I think that this is the better option to have 6 HP even if you are reservist. You don't really want them fighting anyway. The point is that they're just more survivable. Then we've got regular Bradleys, right? So you can mix these into these if you want, right? They are better. So this has got a TOW 2, and this has got an ITO. Sadly, we can't really compare them properly, but you see 3, 3, 2, 1. I think the armor's the same. I think the only change is reservist, which does matter, and the ITO versus the TOW 2, which does of course matter. But if you're just shooting people, then it doesn't matter. Keep in mind that IFVs have been nerfed, so the ATGMs don't shoot as fast anymore, and the autocannons don't kill people as fast anymore. So yeah, 3 cards of those for maximum Bradley, and then a card of ITOs. So, I mean, so this one's terrible, because it's only 16 pen, and it's only 8 availability, even though you can't one-shot a 3 armor vehicle. So it's just bad. So it really is between these two. The TOW 2 is obviously better, but more expensive. And this has more availability. You could honestly, like, you could just have not... I personally would prefer the TOW 2 in this case. Because you've got plenty of ATGMs on the vehicles anyway. And you should be bringing the ITO in the other tab, which we'll get to. So I personally would bring the TOW 2 in this case, because you're not going to need that many infantry ATGMs. You might as well make it good when you have it. And it's 20 points more, right? Arty, so this one doesn't shoot as fast as this one. Or at least, well, they've changed it now, haven't they? So it's only reload. It's reduced accuracy. But then how does that affect this? It's got no accuracy. Either way, 4 howitzers is a lot. Really, 2 is better. Especially if you've only got 2 cards of supply, you can't really keep 4 howitzers shooting for the whole game. Then, between these mortars, so he's up-vetted it, you see. So light howitzers, if like a Gvozdika, if you want that to maintain a constant cloud of smoke, you need to up-vet it. Mortars, you don't actually have to do that, so I prefer this down-vetted. Now, between these two, this has like 700 meters of extra range, so I think it is a lot better for smoking. The bigger ones have bigger clouds of smoke, but they shoot slower. So yeah, having it up-vetted, I mean, it can work, especially if you're not expecting it to die, and if you constantly move it after it shoots, then it won't die, and in which case, you know, it's gonna aim in 50% less time, right, and then it's gonna reload in 20% less time. So it's going to get the smoke out faster, right? You see the difference there. It's only a couple seconds, right? So yeah, that's why I prefer it down vetted. It's only a couple seconds difference. Tank tab. Whereas if it was a Gvozdika, you would need it at 1 vet, basically. Tank tab. So this thing's terrible. It really is. It's not got smoke. And it's got mediocre stealth, so it gets spotted and it gets killed and it can't do anything. It's not very fast, so I vastly prefer this. So this is an ITO, which is why and this is a TOW 2, which is why I put the TOW 2 here, right? It's more available, it's cheaper, it's faster, and it's got good stealth, right? And this now doesn't decrease its okay, well it still decreases the accuracy. So this is 55% instead of 60. And this is 65%, right? But the point is, it's got a good stealth, so it doesn't get spotted as much. And it's cheaper. And you get more of them. So I prefer this one. Then, basically, the National Guard M1 Abrams. I haven't used it since they changed Reservist. But hopefully it's good now. And the first thing we said was change one of these out for the CV one. So when you're using these... Like, it should be good now. It's just it will take suppression very quickly and die take suppression very quickly and then route, and then you've got to hope it doesn't die while it's routing. And it will take ages to get the cohesion back, because it's no vet. But if you keep a CV next to it, it does help, because it ranks it up by 1. It doesn't remove the reservist trait, but it ranks it up by 1. So typically you'd have this, and then a couple of these next to it. That's the idea, but it's not really easy to do. But yeah, they should be better now, so hopefully we'll see it in game. The CEV is good against infantry, but it's like... You've got Bradleys. You've got 18 plus 15 is 33 quick maths. 36 if you include this. Is that right? Anyway, you got a lot of Bradleys, so what do you really need this? If you got all those Bradleys? You know, wouldn't you rather have more heavy tanks, or you know, that's a 3 availability slot. And you got plenty of Bradleys, right? So maybe you would want more tanks, but I think you got enough tanks. Recon tab, so there's not a lot of infantry recon here, basically. You know, you could bring this for... I mean, you've already got a lot of Bradleys, but this one has very good optics and mediocre stealth. So you can get the TOW 2s out, and often it doesn't get spotted. It's annoying for the same reason the Razvedka BMP2 is annoying. So I think this would be a nice investment rather than the CEVs. Then, yeah, standard scouts. You might as well, because the ACAV came down by 10 points, so it might actually be worth using now. But wheeled, because this is tracked, this is helo, this is tracked. So yeah, you need some wheeled scouts. You might as well get the one with the gun. They've not got AT, but neither do these ones, so it doesn't make too much of a difference. This is really good in 1v1s because it's mediocre stealth, good optics, and you just spread it out and it covers your flanks. It covers it against infantry, and it dissuades vehicles. Any significant push will take this out. But the point is that they can't see you when you shoot. So it's basically like if you had to choose between these two, this one's better because you can literally just buy a bunch of them at the start. It's 1/3 the price and just put them absolutely everywhere. Then we've got the Scout for looking at people. Very good optics. Or you can lose 1 availability for exceptional optics, but 14 Hydras is useless. So I actually do prefer this one. The minigun got nerfed a lot, but it's still better than 14 Hydras. And then we spoke about adding this instead of those CVs. You can bring the CVs if you want, right? But I personally think this is a better idea. AA, so this is a 3-point slot as well, right? And yeah, so Stingers for anti-helo, Chaparral upvetted for anti-helo and sort of anti-air, and then Pivads for anti-infantry, except you've got 39 Bradleys or whatever it was, right? Because we just added another 3, and I don't really think you need this. Basically, you save 3 AP, and then you could downvet this one because if you need short range AA and so on, you can't bring these anymore because you don't have them. So helos, right? And then instead of your Pivads, this is a very expensive slot. Instead of 7 Pivads, you can have 1 extra Apache or 2 extra hogs. Is it worth it? It's up to you, right? But the main kicker here, right, is the air. So you've got Eagles to protect the Strike Eagle, Phantoms to protect the Strike Eagle, and Seed to protect the Strike Eagle, but you've only got 1 Strike Eagle. Now you've got 2 Strike Eagles, and you can get regular bombers here, or you can come back and get an Apache, or you can get 2 Hogs. The Hog has more rockets than the Tow Cobra, like a lot more, so this is 76 and this is 14, so it's a big difference. So you can get like 2 more regular bombers, or which I think is probably the best idea, to tell you the truth. Or you could get an Apache, or you could come back and keep the Pivads. Maybe you want to keep the Pivads, like they can be useful. They are very good against infantry. Or you can get 3 more tanks, or 6 more bad tanks, or even more infantry recon, or that 3rd card of supply if you really think you need it, right? So hopefully you've learned something. Hopefully you've got some ideas on how you can change the deck, what you can free up to give yourself more power. So you can have more air power, which is sort of the normal way of doing it, or you can get another Apache, although this is 1 Apache or 2 planes. Or you can keep the Pivads, but I don't really think you need it. Or you can get more tanks if you want more tanks. So switching to his opponent's deck, we've got Spootermang, and he's playing 11th ACAV, which is very topical, because I've been playing a lot of 11th ACAV recently. So yeah, let's go through it. First time, this actually looks very, very similar to mine, but anyway, 2 cards of supply is pretty rough. Because this is like a late game Abrams spam division, and so you might find that you're running out of supply. And then between the CV options, car at 3 or this at 2, it's literally exactly at the other one. Don't get this one. Right, so here's something. For 5 points more, you can get 2 more HP and lose 15 kilometers an hour speed. So do you want to be fast or do you want to live? I probably would prefer being fast, actually. Infantry, so Heimat Jäger, a reservist, and now they are less bad. So that's worth thinking about. But you don't get a lot of infantry, but then you can get more here, right? So personally, I think you can't afford to bring this. So I'd be getting rid of this. And I actually use air cav troopers, because basically with this division, you can open with recon helos and a A10s. He's not actually brought that. And then you can just kill everybody with the A10s, and then use these to very rapidly resupply the extended front line. So that's how I like to play it. Or you can then switch into Abrams for the late game. That's how I like to do it. Then we've got engineers, and yeah, you can bring them in this if you want more shooty power, or you can bring them in this if you want it to get there faster and kill people. Heimat Jaeger we've spoken about, very useful now, because it's 12 per card, which really helps your infantry situation. And then, so this is your only IFV card. So I actually bring this at no vet, and then I buy all of them. Just something to keep in mind. And then Mech Rifles Dragon for more shooty, and I bring it in the Dragon one as well, because it... I mean, if you compare this to the BWP one, it's ridiculous how much worse this is than the Pact equivalent, but it can be useful. Artillery, so this is worse than this because this fires faster and has more range. So at the same range, it will have a small dispersion circle. So you want to be bringing the German one because it's better. Right? I mean, the only advantage of this is it's got a 50 cal for protection. I mean, when's that happening? You're probably still dead anyway, right? It doesn't matter if it's a 50 cal. Having the better shooty is better. Then between these two mortars, this one goes further, even though it's low caliber, and it shoots faster. So you might as well get this one, yeah. So the thing is, though, that this is better at hurting people because it's 120 millimeters. So not only is the HE higher, but also the radius of the splash becomes a little bit more acceptable. This basically won't hurt anybody. But if you're just here to smoke, then you might as well get this one. I bring this one because occasionally I want to try and hit somebody, and I don't think what I lose in terms of the smoke is significant. You know, 400 meters range is not a big deal. Tank tab, so lots of tanks, and then the CEVs, right? So first things first, because we got rid of this, you need to put in the Jaguar 2, which you need anyway. It's really, really good, this thing. 6 armor to survive a hit. Conkers will one-shot it. So basically a tank, you shoot the tank at the tank, you've got mediocre stealth, you reveal yourself while the missile's in the air, because, you know, you're making noise by shooting it, basically. And then he shoots you, you're fine, the TOW2 hits him, and then you smoke and leave, and he smokes and leaves. Except he smoked and left with a 275-point tank, and you smoked and left with an 85-point Jaguar 2. So this is a must-have, basically. The CVs, so in 24th you don't need them because you got loads of Bradleys. Here, you've only got 9 Marders and maybe some Bradleys here, so you really do need this here to hurt infantry. And I bring it at... Do I bring it at no vet? I think I do. Because, yeah, you need a lot of them to replace the IFVs that you don't have. Then, yeah, lots of Abrams and CV Abrams is very null. Recon tab, so the advantage of this div is that they get a Recon Abrams. So you can either start with the Hilo A10 attack, or if your opponent thinks you're going to do that, because you play against him all the time or whatever, you start with the M1A1 ACAV attack. So I'd be down vetting this, getting rid of this, and getting the M1A1 ACAV, because basically this starts further forwards, and it's got good optics. So it's pretty decent. And then that makes up for the 2 tanks that you lost here, right? So you've still got the same number of Abrams. Then in terms of these two, this one has 5 armor, so it can survive a TOW2 hit. A Dragon 2 hit. So this is a Dragon 2, 18 pen. This will survive that, and this will not. Also, it's got the TOW2A, which is good because... it just is, believe me. Basically, against targets with ERA, this will deal 1 extra damage. So this will 2-shot a TATBV, whereas this will 3-shot a TATBV. But this will 2-shot a TATB because it doesn't have the ERA. So it's just better, but mainly you're getting it for the armor. Then LRS for ground surveillance radar, exceptional optics, and you know this is your airborne forward deployed at 100 kilometers an hour. Then scouts, which you should be bringing in the grenade launcher Humvee, basically. Very, very useful piece of kit, this. And it's got good optics, and it's got good stealth, because it's a recon grenade launcher Humvee, so it's very nice. Then, basically, so you can open with one of these as well, backed by the fighters, to mess up enemy deployments. So that's really cool. Then he's got these. So you don't really need 6 recon helos. I'd be much more tempted to bring this one. If you're going to run 2 helos like this, 2 sets of helos, you might as well bring this one. The advantage of this is that it's got loads of HP, so it gets hit and it doesn't die, and also it's got 40% ECM, so it doesn't actually get hit that much, and it jams enemy corrected fire, which is something that you won't really notice, but it will help you, because the enemy dispersion circles will be larger on their artillery. So I don't really see the point in having 6 recon helos when you can get this. The issue with just having this is that you'd only have 2 recon helos. So I only have 1 recon helo and I bring this card because I need 4. Whereas you can still have 4 and, you know, have your cake and eat it here, basically. The reason why is because I've got a 3rd card of supply and he doesn't. So you don't really need the pivads because you've got Eyehawks for long range and then Stingers for helos. The thing is that you can use this as an IFV to kill infantry, so it can be a good idea. I would recommend... do you really need 7 of them? Maybe you do. Maybe you do. Because, yeah, I mean, whatever. You can up-vet it if you want, so that it hurts people more. But yeah, I mean, I can see the advantage of bringing this, actually. I don't bring it because I got that 3rd card of supply. This is 3 AP, right? So that could be 2 more planes here. So is it worth it when you've already got the CVs for the anti-infantry, and then you've got 9 of these now instead of 6? So that's why I don't bring this. But if you're going to have this, you should probably up-vet this one or something, or up-vet one of them. Helos. So yeah, you could have more helos here. Basically, right, so like the tow cobra, for 20 points more, you get 10% ECM, a tow 2, and more hydras. So why wouldn't you do that? It's just so much better. Just so much better, so you should be getting that. And frankly, I think you could do without this. So you can get rid of this, and then get yourself more Sea Knights and more Hogs.
Hello, I like money.
V Grimmett subscribed to the channel.
Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Air tab, so this has gotten a bit cheaper now, and it is your long-range fighter. This is actually better, but it's only short range, but it fires 2 at once, and it is actually better. That's why it costs more. Then basically, like, you want to do that super cool A10 opener so you can kill everybody. So it's like, well, which one of these do you want to get rid of, basically? The advantage of this one is that it's got a 60-second reload. This has the Mavericks, but then this also has the Mavericks. So if you're going to run it like this, I would be swapping one of these out for the AT. And the question is just, which one? So you could do it like that. Because this already has Mavericks. And yeah, this is really good at the start, because it's so slow. You get a lot of shots off in a single pass. So basically you would open with this, or 2 of these. You can open with 2 of these, because you don't know where they're going to attack. It depends on the map, right? Or just one of these, or, you know, whatever. You open with a recon helo. You open with a plane, a fighter, maybe even 2 fighters if they're expecting you. But yeah, fighter, A10, one of these, and then one of these. And so the recon helo comes in, spots targets for the A10. Your fighter keeps your A10 alive and kills enemy helos if they're there. And then you use your one of these to take that position that they were expecting to get to. And then you keep the Black Hawk around. You just use it to shoot people. It's got guns on it. And then get this, when it gets really damaged, you can sell it for full price after it's fired all its bullets, even though it's got guns on it. So yeah, I've been playing this div a lot recently. You'll see it on the channel quite a bit. At least 3 games. I've got 1 out as of speaking, but the other 2 I need to go back and cast, because they are pretty good. And that's it for the deck review. Now we'll cover the map, the matchup, the deployments, and the game. And as always, timestamps in the description. Right, so with that out of the way, let's talk a bit about the map. Basically, the blue side is better because you can put an ATGM in here and shoot people coming down here. Yeah, you can put an ATGM in here and shoot people coming down here. And it's easier to defend Bravo than it is to defend Alpha because of this nice big hill here, which really helps you, and you don't have anything like that on Alpha. Red's advantage... Oh, also, Red's automatic pathing, if you try and resupply this, takes you down here, and not this nice safe way, which is kind of annoying. Red's advantage is if they take mid, they can put an ATGM in here and they can shoot at the guys over here. So that's Red's advantage. In terms of the deployments, we've got Spootermang opening all 4 LLRS. And yeah, they're going here, which is a weird one. Usually you'd put it in this building. To mid, and one on the right here. Usually this one would be put over here so that you can claim this space. Then he's got a Bradley CFV going to Charlie. He actually wants to send it all the way around, so we'll see if that gets there. And a Kiowa Warrior, which he's sending forwards to Bravo to try and snipe the enemy's deployment. Behind that, we've got an F-16A, presumably to protect the Kiowa Warrior. It's only got 4 HP, and it's very expensive for it. And then, yeah, so we've got Heimat Jaeger for mid, Milan 2 for mid. Basically, you would then put it here and shoot down here, right? 2 mech rifles Dragon for Alpha. And then Armada 1A3 Milan, a CEV, and 2 Pivads. So, a bit of an interesting one. I mean, so typically you'd open with the Recon Abrams, which he hasn't put in his deck. And then you'd want, like Pivads aren't really going to save you from aeroplanes. They're more of an anti-infantry thing. I don't even bring them on this division. But yeah, typically you'd want the M1A1 Recon, and then a supply for that, and maybe a Pivads or a Stinger or something. Or typically you'd want to get the Eyehawks up as soon as possible as this division. Switching to his opponent's deployment, we've got Zsadok playing 24th US, and he's got a scout of his own going to Bravo. Behind that, supply truck, military police, the 10-man squad, not the recoilless rifle one, an Ito, which is going up to here, presumably so it can get up to here and shoot down there. Another thing you could do with this is put it here, and then it could shoot down this road, which would be really useful. You'd hit some of these mechanized units coming in. 2 National Guard Abrams. So these are interesting now because the reservist rate isn't as bad as it used to be, as we spoke about in the deck review. And so we'll see how these perform, basically. And then a Chaparral. We've also got a Phantom AA, so we'll see what happens here. I mean, this isn't as good as the F-16, because these missiles aren't as good as these missiles. You know, less range, less HE, less accuracy. But it's got more Sparrows, and it's, it's cheaper. It's got less ECM, right? It's got more gun ammo, which is interesting. Then we've got 2 of these cheap TOW ones, so 1 to here, 1 to here. Typically, right, so this one is already covering that. So you'd want this one here, because the one that you've put here is already kind of covering that. I mean, if you get it up to there, then it could see all there. Or so you would send this one to here, or you'd send it to here, because I'm not sure he's going to be able to intercept this. Basically, I mean, we'll see. And he's also okay. So he's not going for mid, but he's got a defensive position here with an MMG, 2 National Guard a National Guard Bradley and a non-National Guard Bradley. And a Meep Abrams, so this is better than the reservist one, and it is not reservist. So let's cast the game, and we shall do so from this perspective. Right, so they're off, and it's time for me to thank the generous channel joiners, generously joining the channel. They get the names on the screen, they get the videos early, they get members exclusive videos. 1 join at the lowest level is worth 2,000 views, so if you're feeling bad about your ad block, it's a great way to support the channel. This is my sole source of income as I try and complete this never-ending PhD. My funding's run out. There's about to be a deadline, but looks like there's a Kiowa Warrior deadline, and he takes a nosedive there. So that's 120 points down, and this was here to stop that from happening. So just really poor micro there from Spootermang, and now now the Phantom's on him, and he didn't. Yeah, so good micro there from Zsadok, right? He got the helo and he got the jet, because this wasn't, the F-16 wasn't fully turned in time, and it does have a better turning circle than this, so it's a more forgiving plane, and it wasn't turned in time, so this got the missiles off first, and it got the kill. So it's not great for Spootermang, I gotta tell you. In the meantime, you'll note that blue didn't actually open any CVs. So, and red didn't either. So they're both buying them now. So we've got an Iltis Furies coming for Charlie Delta, and it looks like red has taken all this. He's actually moved up the LRS as well. And this you see, this wouldn't actually be able to see this coming in, and neither would this. So it's just something to keep in mind. This should be here or here. Here's the safer option, right? So tow 1s, they don't have much accuracy, but they're enough to take out that Unimog, I suppose. The Meeps popped his smoke, and that is just, there's a weakness in the composition here, which you're noticing right now, right? There's no recon. It's just this. So he really should have brought an infantry recon, because he can't see this. And if he could, it'd be dead, right? You see he switched a gun off there. So Zsadok coming in to take this objective. 24th's advantage is that it gets a lot of units on the field quite quickly because they're reservist and so on. And so it really can pump these guys out. You see he does have more units. He's taking better trades as well, and red's a bit more spread out, right? So something like this has cost red 120 points off his deployment, and it's not actually done anything for him yet. Once it gets there, it'll kick in, right? But a healer's probably going to take that out, right? You would assume. It's a lot of points to just be sending around the side like that. So, okay, so he's reversed with these because he's realised, well, I don't want to get hit by infantry AT, and I guess that was the right call because this would have hit him. And yeah, the massive wall of fire here just taking out red's troops. And now, yeah, the Bradleys are coming around. He does have the optics here. They're shooting as well. And, yeah, Meep Abrams gets hit by a Mech Rifle's Dragon. Only does 2 damage. And here comes the F-16 AT. There's only a Chaparral here. That's interesting. There's only a Chaparral here. So, okay, he goes for the ones on the... So that's very smart, basically. You want to take the ones furthest away from the AA, because then, obviously... You know, you don't get hit by the AA. Anyway, the Bradley's getting teamed up on by the M50s here. The Bradley should win. But that must have... I think it was the Bushmaster must have dealt that damage, because this would one-shot that quite easily. It's only got 1 armor. So you expect the Bradley to win here. And down it goes. F-16, I think it claimed another one there. I'm not quite sure, actually. No, I don't think it did, because it might come up here. Sometimes it doesn't, so... And, whoa, that would have been a big kill, actually. But he goes down. So the Eagle was purchased, which makes a lot of sense. And you would assume that Spootermang would see that with the very good optics on that plane and just run away. But he really wanted those tanks, I suppose. The Eyehawk has been revealed, and he's selling the transport. Okay, he's changed his mind now, so he can move that. So far, +1 to Zsadok, because Spootermang decided to cap the +2 before the +3, which is... You know, strange decision-making, basically. And, yeah, Zsadok's very committed to attacking here, so, which, you know, makes sense, right? Because he's got less map control at the moment. And the way you take this is you take the sides, which is what he's doing. So typically you'd want this side as well. But, you know, if you've got this and this, then you can sort of attack here. It's just, it gets a lot easier if you've got both sides, because you spread the enemy out a lot, right? He's got to put stuff over here and whatnot. But, you know, this is still working. You can see he's got a lot of units. These National Guard Abrams, they're, you know, they're doing something. Pretty crazy how this one missed and this one hit, but that's actually 65% accuracy. The reservist debuff removes 5%, I think, from what I remember. So, yeah, if that was on full HP, it would have survived that, but it was not. And here comes the Phantom. So, presumably the Eyehawk should be shooting here. But he had it on a move order, so I guess that's why it didn't. So it shoots now, and you see the F-16's got a better turn of circle. Okay. I'm not sure what happened there. The F-16 did turn faster, but it just turned into the path of the Phantom, so I guess having the better circle isn't always everything. So the National Guard Abrams could have been withdrawn there. They did lose to the M1A1 in the defensive position. So yeah, he could have smoked and left. Like, these were all shooting as well, so it does make it harder. So yeah, Zsadok's lost all his tanks now, I guess. He's got a lot of Bradleys though, and you see that, yeah, the tows But once again, he needs recon. Imagine if he had a recon in here. You know, he'd be able to see that. I mean, you can see it right now anyway, but he would have been able to see it when his Abrams were back here, right? So maybe they wouldn't have died and whatnot. There's a lot of ATGMs coming in there. And okay, so he did still have a tank. It was just hiding behind this Bradley. So yeah, another thing you can do is hide behind this house, so that this doesn't shoot you. And he's got it on an attack move, so it ended up breaking the LOS anyway. But yeah, he's got a bit of a problem now in that he's getting shot from 2 angles, so I think he needs to get in over here. Although this one moved, so okay. What? Right, this Bradley started killing people now, basically. And this M1A1's still alive. So Spootermang doing a decent job of keeping his stuff alive. It's just there's just so much blue here. 24th, I gotta try playing it. It seems really fun. I played against it and it didn't go so well for me, so that'll be one of those planes, right? So yeah, this is it's a pretty expensive loss. I don't think he's noticed this is happening, because this is also just coming down here. So we'll just look at it from this perspective so we can track this. Toe Cobra's getting picked up by the Pivad, so he should have reacted immediately there, and maybe he would have gotten out. This does have 70% accuracy, and there you go, another side shot with a Toe 2, another kill. So, yeah, Zsadok's really got to pay attention to that. He's lost 2 tanks to that now. So that's like 340 points, right? Something like that. Because I think they're 170 each, those ones. There's none left, so I can't check. But yeah, look at this. The Toe 2's really zoning out the Abrams. You'll notice Spootermang, he's doing a decent job of keeping them alive, but he just can't do anything. Oh, I guess a slightly less good job now. But he'd already used his smoke, right? So he basically was scuppered there. And this is how you take Alpha, right? You don't just run up and down this road. You see so many people doing this. You take the sides. This is a better side to take than this side, I guess. Simply because if you take this side, you cut this reinforcement road. But if you take this side, and you get up to here, you cut both reinforcement roads, so this one and this one. And then you can pressure this. But yeah, you can always run people into this forest and whatnot. But yeah, taking Alpha is very, very doable. Taking Bravo is very difficult because of this big hill. And you know, this wonderful fallback position. So I do wish they would fix that, but I'm not sure what they'd do. They'd have to add more terrain. They'd have to add a big hill here, basically, and then that would fix it. Just add a big hill there, that'd be sorted. In the meantime, Spootermang, he's dropping back now. He keeps buying these CVs. Now, I'm not really sure why. I guess he sees them as a sort of medium tank, but they're useless against armour. And, you know, sure, you kill the fire team law, but the main problem here are the Bradleys. The Abrams are taking the hits, and then the Bradleys are shooting Toe 2s at everybody, which are, you know, basically is one of the best ATGMs in the game. There's obviously the Hellfire and like that Bastion thing that Pact gets. It's got way less pen, but it's so fast and it's got more range and more accuracy because it's well, okay, I suppose this is 65 base, but it's 60 base, but it's got more range, so probably about the same accuracy. But the main point is that the missiles are really fast. This one isn't that fast. You can dodge, well, you can smoke in time, but it's kind of hard to do that. So if I'm blue at this point, basically you've got 2 decisions. You can try and run into India, but you got to be fast about it, because if he starts buying, like, so right now, if blue attacked right now, he might be able to do it, although there are 2 M1A1s here. The longer he waits, the more people are going to be here, and the harder it's going to be to take this position, because it's just a big open field. So either you go for that, or you take this and you go this way, right? Because these guys, for the same reason you can't attack this, he can't attack this. It's a big open field, so you do leave some guys here, but then you get your blobs and you just start hitting all these zones. The best way to do it is to come in from this side, because if you cut, basically you cut the reinforcements, right? And then you can take these no problem because there's, you know, they can't reinforce it. In the meantime, the highway of death here is he's finally noticed something's happening back here. So he's lost a Bradley, presumably with all the infantry inside, 2 tanks and a supply vehicle, but he's finally got it. So this really did pay for itself, like probably 3 times over. It's just about, you know, it makes you weaker at the start if you buy that, but send it round. But if you bought it and it's here and it's not doing anything, you might as well try and send it round. The thing is, if that M150 was here, this never would have happened. So having one there and one here is probably the best way of doing it. Or you can move this one up to here, but it might die, right, where it's kind of safer here. You know, because enemy forward deployed might make it to this forest or whatever. If you're falling back over a big field, whereas here you're falling back, you know, into this area here where you can't really be shot. So yeah, that just came down to the M150 positioning, and look what it cost him. Warno is a very unforgiving game, really, compared to Broken Arrow. Cost him so much, just that one mistake, but that's how you learn. It's an analogy for life, you know. Sometimes you make a mistake in life and it costs you everything. You spent 5 years in prison doing a PhD. You know, just completely taking that argument just out of thin air. It's not based on real world observations or anything. Anyway, this LRS has got nowhere to go. Another thing you can do is buy a smoke mortar, right? Because let's say you want to attack here. You smoke this and then you attack here, but honestly, if I was blue at this point, you should not be attacking this anymore. It's been too long. He's had too much time to put people in here, so just leave a blocking force here, right? Basically everything here, and 1 Bradley here would be nice, and maybe 1 infantry here, and then everybody else should be coming around for Delta Charlie. Because if he keeps attacking, I mean, it's just, you know, Spootermang, he's buying some weird things. And one of these M1A1 should be here, really, but yeah, it's very defensible because of the big field. But yeah, 24th is really good now. I need to play it. I've seen it a couple times. I've played against it. It looks really fun. You get a lot of units, and the units aren't bad. Sorry, I'm dying. So, Spootermang trying to bring up his M1A1s here, but, you know, the power of the TOW 2 is pretty lit. Does need to... Okay, so that one's been smoked. So he sent out a Wild Weasel Seed. Honestly, a howitzer at this point would be a very good investment, or a howitzer like 5 minutes ago. Right. I mean, that was... He basically just put the order here, and it chose this path. So you got to be very careful when doing things like that. Also, it didn't really need to be there. I don't understand what that was for. It looks like Zsadok really wants to take this. When I said howitzer, I think blue should buy a howitzer. Red should not be buying a howitzer right now because he needs to shore this up, and he needs to try and get this back. Because you get this back, then you can punch this way, and you can, you know, start reinforcing this. The alternative is running across the big field, which isn't really possible. So yeah, 2 CEVs versus 1 Bradley. I mean, it's not for armor, right? It's just got a big HE on it. It's not really what it's for. But yeah, I'm not sure really. I mean, 11th ACAB basically needs a bunch of M1A1s and then it can win. But the issue is he's lost a lot of M1A1s because Zsadok's been killing him with the Bradleys and so on. He's lost at least 3 because there were 2 there, now there's 1, and we saw like 2 die here, I think. He might have only lost 2, but I think it was 3. When you buy a howitzer, you want it to shoot straight away if it has the range, which this one definitely does. See, that's the range there. Because it can reload on the move. So you want to shoot and then move, right? And like this guy isn't doing anything. You click this, Shift F. Well, you got to click back here first, otherwise he'll come out here and get shot. And then he can reload faster and, you know, move after every volley. But if you just buy it and it's not doing anything, you might, you know, you basically might as well have bought it now as opposed to 2 minutes ago. But it is firing now. He's not queued up the move order, though. It's something you've always got to do. Shift, T, click, F, click. Right, and you click this, Shift F, click, and it will just go to it. Follow it around. You can bring in the supply as and when needed, but you know, you'll be good for several minutes. 12 minutes apparently. Is that right? I suppose if it's upverted, it's faster, right? So, Chappie gets hit there. Probably going to die because it's been stunned, so can't really move. Oh, gets hit again. Although, you know, the RNG on the RT is very strange. So, that had a salvo length of 4, so this is the last round, and now he just gets a little bit fortunate there. I mean, it is far away, so the dispersion circle's big, but now he's got this problem. And you see that it will maintain the tracking past the range. If this was on an attack move order, it would lose the tracking. But you see that's past the range there. So basically, once you leave the range, you want to jink and get behind this, basically. I'm pretty sure it just goes in a straight line after it leaves the range. So yeah, you can get out of the range and then turn, and then it'll miss you. But in this case, you could get out of the range and turn because this house would save you. Anyway, looks like Blue's attacking over here now, which is what he wants to do, really. Because, yeah, you see these are all coming down this road. Like, we saw those all in Milan who got dismounted here before. And, yeah, that's what you want to do, right? Just defend this and, you know, make sure he doesn't get back in here and then just come take all this. So, okay, there was Naito in there. And you see he's using the 50 cal to support his fire team lore. Basically, this should go into that forest because it will give him 50% damage reduction. This is already in that forest, which is good.
Steve Goopford subscribed to the channel.
Thanks for subscribing to the channel, Steve. So, yeah, he's buying these to replace this. Really, this is where you want a tank, I suppose. And a recon infantry. Like, there's still no recon infantry here. He's attacking, okay. But yeah, not having any recon infantry makes pushing very difficult. You can't see anything, right? And this can't get too close because it'll get shot. But yeah, he's attacking here, and he might make it. I mean, there's 2 Abrams here. The main question is, will Spootermang bring these out? Because all he has to do is get these over to here, and then this is all dead, right? I mean, so yeah, I think this is not a good idea, to be honest. I think pushing here would be much smarter. And basically, you want to take this, right? So that they can't keep sending people in here. Because there was like nobody in here before. That was loads. Now you need to move this because it's fired. And yeah, this isn't going to work out really. If you are attacking over an open field and you absolutely have to, like let's say you really want to come over here, well the best way to do it is to get a tank here or an IV here and get the infantry in here. And then get them all the way down, right? And then you can start attacking this way because you know that there's not a bunch of guys in here killing you. If you need to do it quickly and you're not sure if there's a guy in there, you use a recon helo, nobody, and then you attack. Or in this case, you would see people pretty quickly, right? You get 4 of these, so you can afford to just throw 1 in. But yeah, massive blue losses here all across the board. Just a very... he's attacking in 2 places at once, which is hard enough anyway. But I mean, yeah, it's sort of. I get the impression he's got somewhere he has to be or something. he's in a bit of a hurry. So yeah, I mean, he had the advantage in terms of positioning, not in terms of points, but in terms of positioning. But so the advantage of this is that it can't really one-shot a heavy tank, but it reloads in a minute if it doesn't get hit. But it did get hit there. So yeah, I mean, this is pretty crazy. You see how fast these missiles are, the Hellfires? Yeah, this is taking big L's here. This, you want to right-click this, right? Because is he going to get side shot again? It turned to face it. Okay. Oh, if that had hit him, he'd be dead, because that would have been a side shot. Wow, this just missed again. Okay. He is kind of just winning through sheer weight of numbers here, but this was could have been better, really. Typically, you know, you want to... it's like, yeah, I would have just defended here and taken these, but you can get in here and then get around. But he's doing that while doing this, and it's like... Could be going a bit better for him. This is... What? Yeah, that was... this is very brave MutCV there. So, like, this didn't really accomplish anything. If he had gone for... Because he was just sort of here. If he had gone to take this, that would have actually been colossal, because then they can't reinforce this zone. So if he'd like stuck down this road and tried to get in here, that would have been big. But he just kind of came out over here, which is not really what you want to do. But he is making progress. So it's pretty funny watching 11th ACAB try to deal with 24th US. But yeah, I get the idea behind like so because he attacked here as well, he spread the enemy out here. So yeah, you can feint here and then attack there properly, right? So that does work because all of this didn't used to be here. There was like one unit in here. Now there's a lot, and this is here and this is here, right? And this all happened because he came this way. And then that frees up this to make this push work. So yeah, 11th ACAV doesn't want to play wide, so it does make sense to do what he did, like in theory. It's just the execution of it was pretty crazy. I would have done it the other way around, basically. Just kept these guys here and, you know, come down this way, a bit safer, and then properly attacked here. Because, yeah, if you get from here to here, then he can't reinforce, right, this zone at all. Unless he comes all the way down here, down here, down here. But once you get a guy in here, you know, a couple Bradleys, couple Stingers, whatever, then you come take this. Instead, he's really done it the hard way, but it does seem to be working in terms of ground, but Spootermang buying that second arty piece is really not very intelligent. So Wild Weasel gets outranged by the Eyehawk. It's really not great. As far as seed planes go, it's probably the worst one, actually. At least the Jaguar seed is 3 per card, right? But yeah, I don't know. This used to be like 4 per card, and they made it 2, so it's just not very good. Alright, so F-16 coming in. I'd be landing this, because you don't know if he's going to come for you or not. Obviously, he is going on the seed. But there you go, he got him, and the seed survived, so good AA net cover there. And in the meantime, yeah, Zsadok just attacking everywhere. He lost this tank. It's very difficult to pay attention to multiple attacks at once. Like, it's difficult for a spectator. It's obviously going to be very difficult for you as an attacker. But defending is less difficult because you just sit there, right? You just make sure you spend your income. The main decision is where should I spend it, but you know, you unload a guy in here, he's going to do his thing. So yeah, the main problem is an allocation problem. Whereas in attacking in 2 places, you got to be paying attention to ATGM positions in 2 places. You got to be smoking in 2 places. You know, smoking with your tank at least to stop it from dying. Not even using the smoke mortar. I mean, like just pressing the smoke button. But it seems to be working. He's getting in. It is working out. Going deep with the Apache there. I think this could kill that. Yes. Okay, no, it's going for the Phantom. But yeah, that's the other problem, is that they use a plane, and your AA net can't cover it, right? So you got to be careful with those Apaches, especially considering he only had 1. That was it, basically. Also, you know, like this mortar that he bought for smoke, presumably, could be smoking. But Spootermang's making his own mistakes here, so I was assuming that would be a side shot, but even so, it's gonna stun it all up, and then the Bradley should kill it. So it's routing, and they used to show their back when they routed, but they fixed that, thankfully. Oh, look at that, he switched buildings so he can get the side shot. Oh, that was smart. So that was good there, he wouldn't have killed that otherwise. That was the last shot, Ramirez, and now he's max vet. He's got all those, he's leveled up Ramsey here. It's raw! Sorry, it's not a very funny joke. Can't even see it. Is this it? Used to be it. It's like the turret popped off. Gonna get a lot of stick from the military boffins about that. No, the turret doesn't pop off on an Abrams. Anyway, this thing is really not so bad actually. It's simply because of how fast you can cycle it. Once every minute, because that didn't get hurt, it'll be back in a minute. And he's got 2 CVs here, I guess because he assumed something bad would happen, which is, you know, it's fair enough really, but You know, typically when you've got a lot of time, you know, you worry about the CV later, basically, and you take the zone first, because, like, this is, you know, 110 points. That could have been an extra Bradley unit, like, because obviously this comes with the thing, but it would be an M2A1 Bradley. I suppose it's really not that expensive, the National Guard CV, 35 points. But yeah, just something to think about. Typically, you take the zone first, right? CV second, unless you're, like, really pressured for time, or if you're just doing some sort of meme attack. So it was a nice idea to go for the Chaparral there, but he did miss it. But now he can use... So, like, Zsadok needs to move this. He knows the enemy has howitzers. And yeah, I was going to say the howitzers should be shooting this, and they are. So, Fire Team Dragon is in here, and you see the power of taking this forest for blue. Like, just running across this open field and getting shot is very wasteful. You really want to come around here. And you can have guys attacking in the meantime, but it's like having a guy over here is not as helpful as pushing through this forest and having a guy over here, because then, you know, you don't have to really worry about these guys over here unless it's a range on that. I suppose if it was a TOW 2 or a Conkers, you'd have to worry about it. But yeah, if your armoured stuff's here and you've got infantry going through here, you know you're not going to get attacked from this forest because you're in there. And then you can kill the guys coming down here. This is always a problem though, so like a mortar for smoke, like this mortar, you just smoke like here, or even you can even smoke a bit closer like here, but yeah, you just smoke about here and then they can't do anything. But yeah, if you're gonna run across the fields, you're gonna take a lot of losses. Did get the CV though with the Fire Team Dragon, and he has basically broken through here, so like there's nothing. I suppose the M1A1 would kill the dragon in a 1v1 or whatever, but you know, if this just gets in that building or even in the forest, it's going to do a lot of suppression to this. But yeah, right now he's just getting shot. LOS tool moment there. And yeah, you see how fast these come back up, right? So Spootermang, he got rid of the Chaparral. I think that must have been the artillery. And now he can kill a Bradley every 60 seconds or whatever. But he really needs to. So it's like that just evac'd. No, that should have killed that Pivads because that's. You want to focus down the AA, really. And yeah, Zsadok can just leave an eagle back here. He did kill the Eyehawk with the dragon, so that's important. And he is pushing here. He has managed to take it. Man, I gotta play me some 24th. It looks like a lot of fun. You can really get a lot done now. Like, the National Guard stuff, even though the stat card never reflected how bad it was before, you could tell it's better just from looking at the game. It just doesn't die as fast. It seems to kill enemies a bit more. So yeah, that's a juicy side shot there. Spootermang basically making the same mistake Zsadok was. But yeah, he's lost his whole screening force. He's done a decent job of building up Abrams, but it's just he's got nothing else. So he buys some more CVs. And there's the surrender. So yeah, GG. Really entertaining game. I'm going to go play a game of 24th now. So rank 355 with 156 games. And we've got rank 864 with 89 games. So these guys are pretty similar, to be honest. So a lot of it just comes down to the strategy. And yeah, I think Zsadok did a good job of spreading the enemy out, because 11th ACAV really does want to play narrow. But it was, at the end, I just wish there were like graphs of KD over time, kills over time, deaths over time. Because basically you started off really strong, and then he just kind of started running at people. Like you see all this red here, you know. Just very wasteful behavior, basically. Anyways, I do hope you enjoyed that game, and I'll see you in the next one. GG.